Hey guys, how's it going? Sammy C here. So it hasn't really been a thing where I've been doing like a lot of my own recipes or anything like that, or like remixes of existing recipes. Um, they've mostly been like embedded into other things, except for like the rasam thing I did back in the summer. And after that rasam recipe, I never really had a chance. Um, to make another like cooking post. So I came up with something today. Like earlier I was in the cafe ordering dinner and it just came into my mind. I'm like, okay, I have to try this. And I figured, why not try it with you guys? So I love I love um the Fiesta nacho potatoes from Taco Bell. And basically, what's in it is, at least for me, the way that I order it, potatoes, sour cream, jalapenos, cheese sauce. That's pretty much it. Very, very simple. But me living in dorms and not having a Taco Bell that's a walkable distance away, not having a car, means I have to DoorDash. And every time I DoorDash Taco Bell, the delivery fee itself is like ridiculous. Whenever I order Taco Bell, even if it's like just the potatoes and everything, I end up at least having to spend like $10 with delivery, with taxes, this, that, the commission for the drivers, all of that. It's crazy. So I'm like, I'm craving Taco Bell, but I'm not gonna spend money on it, you know? So, so then I thought, see, what if like on nights when I'm just craving the potatoes and I'm not like thinking about I want a quesadilla or nachos or anything, just potatoes, what can I do? Do I have alternatives? And then and then I had a thought. Yeah? Okay. So, we have these tiny cups in the cafe like in which you can put like condiments, like, ketchup, mustard, whatever. So I grabbed one of those. I went into the place, like the area where they're actually like making food and stuff. I went up to the deli counter and I gave him a cup and I'm like, jalapenos. Can you give me some jalapenos in this? And he said, yeah. And he gave me this. And it was so cool. I didn't know if he would do that or not, but he did. So I've got my jalapenos. Earlier today, I bought some fries around lunchtime, but I was full after my veggie burger. Well, it's honestly, it's false to even call it a veggie burger. It was a black bean patty with no vegetables because I'm a picky eater. I love veggies in my sub sandwiches. I hate them in burgers, like, absolutely hate them. Anyways, so bought some fries. I didn't eat them. I put them in the fridge after I got back to my room and I left them there. So I'm like, okay, so I've got fries. I just grabbed jalapenos. Now, sour cream and cheese sauce. Unfortunately, there was no sour cream in the convenience store on campus, but I did get Fritos cheese sauce. Yeah. It's jalapeno cheddar and it is my favorite flavor of Fritos dip. So, now that I have my three main ingredients, let's get cooking. Okay, I'm gonna set this down right here. Okay, so I have my fries here. I have a plate because my cutting board is back home. So the first thing is, like, as I said, I put them in the fridge. They're cold, but before I heat them up, I want to cut them. Like, sure, you could heat them up and then cut them, and then you can risk burning your hand. So let's not do that. So I want to cut them up. Like, I mean, you can leave them normally, I guess, but I don't know. I want to have a little fun with this, right? Like, I want to be able to eat this with a spoon. Um, so I'm just gonna lay down my fries. It's like that. This is how I'm laying them down. Um, and I can't get this on a higher platform, unfortunately. That's okay. I'll show you guys once it's done cutting. But, yeah, so I'm gonna cut. So while I'm working on cutting these, because I don't want to you know, have you guys just stare at me cutting fries without saying anything. So, because that would be pretty stupid. So, let me tell you about, what do I want to talk about today? So, earlier tonight, I was with the South Asian Student Organization on campus. We were doing dance practice. If you either like subscribe to my music channel or my music Insta or my personal Insta, you probably by now would have seen this reel I made of me just dancing around to some song. So it's funny because the audio that I used, the track I pulled from Instagram is Kopanga Kopanga from Majnu. The thing is that that was not the song that was playing in the background when I was dancing around. No, so the thing is, the song that was playing in the background while I did this initially, it was a Hindi song that I had not heard before, and I could not, like, it was so freaking loud in there. Everyone was like talking and stuff while the music was playing, and so I didn't hear the lyrics properly. Also, they cut it out, like they cut off the song, like I think like 10 seconds into it or something or whatever, like, so I don't know the song, and I didn't know how to find it, and I'm like, well, I don't know how to find the song, and I can't have that playing in the background without crediting it, and I don't want to, the whole copyright shit and all that. I'm like, I know, like, with me, right, like, you guys know, if I don't know where audio is coming from or whatever, I'll just say that. Like, I did that for my Good Morning America, Hello to the World video that I did, I think, the last episode I made, like, at Erie Curry House and everything, they were playing stuff on the TV, and I'm just like, yo, guys, that's not from me, right? That's from them. But yeah, no, I mean, I didn't want to do that. Also, like, like, the audio that had, originally been recorded was a little faint. As I said, it was, people were talking and shit, and I'm like, I didn't want to pick up their conversations either. So I'm like, okay, what do I put in the background for this? Oh, and voila, look at that. So now I'm gonna put that in the microwave and continue my story. So while I was rewatching the video, thinking like, okay, which audio track do I use with this, right? How long do I want to put this in? Like a minute? Yeah, let's try a minute, and if I need more heat, I'll heat it up. Yeah, minute's good. Okay, so what basically was happening was I was rewatching the video of me like bopping my head and everything on mute. Yeah, on mute. And while I was doing that, Kopanga Kopanga was played on the boombox, and it just synced up perfectly. And I'm like, there it is, there it is. So that's the track that I used. The way that life happens sometimes, things just fall in sync. Like, I don't believe in fate and all of that. I believe in coincidence, yes. But, it's interesting how things happen. Because here's the thing. I could have very well chosen not to use the song, right? But I actively chose. Even now, if I want to go back and change it, I can. I don't want to, though. It's a nice song. And I love the beat. I really like the beat. I hadn't actually heard that song before, though. And there's the beep. Okay, so my heated up fries. Here we go. Let's see. Hot? Oh, yeah, that's hot. Okay, cool. So now, cheese sauce. All right, I'm gonna set you back down there so my hands are free. All right, so with my cheese sauce, once we take the white cap off, if you guys haven't seen these boxes before, it's like this. It has one of these things on it. Like soup cans sometimes have this, so I'm gonna pull this open. And careful not to hurt my finger. It is very easy to get injured with these, so you want to be careful. kids, because I do believe there are probably at least a couple of like people who are like under 11 and 10 watching this. Please be careful when opening things like this. Don't hurt yourself. Yeah, get like an adult or like just an older sibling, or just if you want to do it yourself, just please be careful. Yeah, actually, that's a message to everyone. What am I talking about? There are kids I know who are a lot more responsible than the adults I know, so be careful. Okay. um Anyways, so I bring up the topic of fate versus coincidence, I say, while I try to find, what is it I'm trying to find? That's what I'm trying to find, because the rest of my forks and spoons are in the dirty dishes pile that I still have to clean. Okay, so I'm gonna scrape down the cheese from this first, because I do not want to waste it. Like, why should I waste it, right? I'm gonna scrape it off of that. I'm gonna take this off. Okay. And then that. But yeah, fate versus coincidence. I bring this up, like, even the other day in the Erie Curry House Good Morning America, Hello to the World video, I was talking about that. The last time Malang Sajana played, that's the song I was talking about. It was actually during one of these practices. You know, I can't talk too much about it. I really can't. I wish I could, but I cannot. And it's one of those situations where if I said too much, like, everyone would figure out in 5 seconds flat, at least, like, you know, everyone who kind of knew what I was talking about. So I'm not going to do that. I will say, I've told you about my dancing king, right? Look at that. I'm just going to drizzle cheese on, like, scoop it on like that. Not too much, right? Like, I'm not going to do too much, but... So I've told you about my dancing king before. Well, not all of you might know what I'm talking about, but if you've read my blog, a while ago there were a bunch of these posts about, you know, I gave them the code name Dancing King. I think maybe 1 or 2 of those posts are still up. Not all of them, but 1 or 2. Well, let me say, I found my Dancing King 2.0. And, like, I'm telling you, right? Dancing King, I thought he was, like, the best dancer I'd known. Like, I'm talking about in real life, right? Like, come on. In the movies, they're amazing dancers. But I don't know them in real life. But this, you know, my Dancing King, he was, like, the best dancer I knew. And then I met 2.0. And I... He's good. He's good, but he's also, when he teaches us choreo, like, it's stuff that's actually, like, he keeps in mind that not all of us are, like, professionals and shit, or at least he tries to. Like, sometimes you have to tell him, like, bro, what the hell, that's too hard, but apart from that, he's chill. He's really chill. He's funny and fun and, well, funny sometimes. Sometimes. When I first met him, it was really interesting because I thought he was so serious. Turns out that's just kind of his resting face, how it looks, which is really funny. But the reason I tell you about him is because, I love this cheese. I just, it's so good. Oh my god, guys. This, yeah, with Fritos. Like, but not plain Fritos, okay? Not plain Fritos. There is Fritos, which are, like, all spiced up. I don't know, maybe they're called, like, chili Fritos or whatever. Like, okay, when I figure that out, I will Google it later, and I will put it in the description or comments or whatever. Like, I will put it below the video, okay? Yeah, let's say that. I will put it below the video. Wherever you're watching this, yeah? It'll be below the video, whether it's on YouTube or on Midnight Mocha Latte. Okay, so cheese, box. I was about to say dabba, which is Telugu for box, and I'm like, wait a minute. No, there's other people watching this, not just Telugu people. Okay, I'm gonna put that in the fridge. But yeah, what was it I was saying? Oh yeah, the reason I'm telling you about my Dancing King and all of that and everything, and first impressions. That's why I'm telling you. Well, there's a lot of other stuff, but we're not going to get into that. First impressions. As I was saying, when I first met him, I remember thinking, like, oh my god, he's so serious, but no, he's not. Like, he's really chill and fun, and, you know, um, like I was saying a while ago, in fact, I said this in one of my previous Good Morning America Hello to the World videos, and I need to find a shortcut for that. I really do. It's like a bajillion words long. Like, I need a shortcut. Just like I call Midnight Mocha Latte MML, I really need a shortcut. Um, so, first impressions. Because here's the thing, right? In first impressions, there's not much you can tell from a first impression. There really isn't. And everything you do kind of think from a first impression, it's either not enough or it's false or there's something else happening there, right? So, you know, applying this to the dating system, yeah? That's what we're going to talk about. Before I get into that, jalapenos. So I want to cut the jalapenos up too. So what I'm going to do is the fries, I'm going to put them into my bowl. I'm going to put the fries into the bowl. Okay, so the dating system. I remember a while ago my mom asked, like, why can't I just be friends with someone instead of, you know, like, dating them? You know, wait to date until, like, you're ready to get married. I'm like, first of all, that's dumb as hell. I mean, what was I supposed to expect, I guess? Because my parents, right, they met in the 90s in college, law school, and I think they dated for, like 6 months before they got, either 6 months before they got married or engaged, one or the other. I think it might have been 6 months before they got engaged or something. Because I did ask my mother, you know, like, oh, how long were you and dad together before, you know, whatever. Because when I was with, well, my parents, as far as I'm concerned, collectively, they've known about 2 of my exes. Yeah, 2. Let's go with that. I'm pretty sure. So, well, let me emphasize, I've told them about 2 of them because they were the important ones and no one else really mattered. Not like that, okay? All of you guys, you matter so much as people, just in terms of romance-wise, thinking about the future-wise, right? You know, that's what I mean. Anyways, no, so my mom asked me, like, what's up with the dating thing and whatever, and like obviously neither of my parents, they got it, you know. I mean, okay, for all of you who are watching this who are like in at least, I want to say anything 40 above, yeah, let's go with that, 40 or above, chances are very, very, very few of you of the South Asians actually approve of the whole dating thing, you know? Or at the very least, you're thinking your kids or your, you know, nieces and nephews and people my age shouldn't even consider dating until, like, they get a freaking job, like a full-time first job and are settled in life. That's the dumbest shit ever. I'm sorry, but it is. And I don't say that in a mean way. I say that in a, it's not realistic and it's not healthy way. It really isn't, okay? So I'm gonna cut my jalapenos, and while I cut my jalapenos, I'm gonna keep talking about that. Okay, so plate. And, jalapenos. I love jalapenos, like seriously, I'm obsessed. Like, the best thing ever. Whoever invented them. Whoever invented them. Whoever thought it was a good idea to eat them. There we go, yeah. Okay, so here's why it's unrealistic, right? In order to, you know, there was this person I was talking to the other day, and he said, like, he made some dialogue about how, well, within, like, the first 2 to 4 months, there's, like, studies that you can, like, figure out if someone is the one or whatever, or, like, figure out if you want to be with someone. Here's the thing. I think It is very easy to figure out if you don't want to be with someone, right? He wasn't wrong about that. Sometimes it can be very, very easy to say, like, because you kind of, it's that theory that you already know what you don't want, even if you don't yet know what you want. You know? Like, for example, there are people that come into college with their majors undecided, and they do not, like, they absolutely do not know what they want to do with their lives, but they do know the subjects that they hate. And that's their starting point. Like, for example, they might say, like, yo, I hate science, so medicine's out of the question. I also hate politics, so nothing related to politics or law or political science. They might not know what they want yet, but they do know what they don't want, which is a great starting point. So I do agree that with that, yeah. And here's my cut jalapenos. Cool. Okay. So I do agree with the notion that you might not, you might like realize very quickly that, this isn't the person for me. But what about realizing that they are the person for you? That takes longer. That really takes longer. My longest ex, 9 months. We lasted almost 9 to 10 months. When we broke up, I told my parents it was amicable. And I suppose in some ways it could have been, but it really wasn't. Neither of us did anything wrong or bad or whatever. The whole thing was a dumb misunderstanding, but because of it, we learned a lot about each other. We learned that we had both been ignoring certain, not red flags necessarily, but we had just been ignoring certain issues between us because, I don't know, we just did. And then it finally caught up to us, and that's when we realized, oh shit. And in hindsight, it's a good thing we broke up. It really is. Because long term, either we wouldn't have lasted, or if we did last, it would have been a toxic relationship. Here's the thing. First impressions are shit. First impressions mean absolutely nothing. Sometimes you think that someone is the one, and then they turn out not to be. Other times, you think, well, maybe they're not the one. And then sometimes that changes as well. That does change sometimes. It does. So you have your options, right? Either you can play the long game, the waiting game. You can wait until you're completely settled and everything and in your 30s, 40s. Sure. And I'm not saying you shouldn't. But then how long are you going to spend with that person before you make the decision? That's the problem. The problem isn't, are you in your 20s? Are you in high school? Are you in the working world? None of that matters. That's not the important part. The important part is, if you are at that age where you decide, this is it, I want to settle down, and that's when you start looking, how long is that going to take you? Yeah? And then there's the risk of settling down with the wrong person first. Look, at this age in my 20s, so what if I break up with a couple bajillion people? Because that's the whole point. It's not going to ruin my life, and it's not going to ruin theirs. Everything will be just fine. But what happens when you hit that point in life where you're ready to settle down, and then you settle down with the first person you freaking date, and after you do that, you realize that they're wrong for you, and they realize you're wrong for them. That's where resentments, toxicity, all of that shit comes into play. And I'm not saying it's a universal. I'm not saying every single relationship in which you only date for a short amount of time before you settle down fails. I'm not. But I'm saying that is the majority of cases, at least as far as I know. It's not a risk that I'm willing to take. I would rather risk getting my heart broken 1,000 times than risk ending up with the wrong person, someone who's going to hurt me, someone who I'm going to hurt for days and days and days. And until we both lose our minds and wonder what we're doing with our lives. And then it becomes too late to change it. I don't want to be in that kind of position. So I'm not going to be in that kind of position. I refuse to be in that kind of position. And I take ownership of it. You know, like when my parents first found out, well, I don't know, maybe they already knew before that I did date. Like, come on, people. I've been blogging about this shit since how long? My mother followed me on my writer's account for a while. Like, and I know for a fact, like, my dad once in a while was looking at my blog. And so, come on. I guarantee they know some stuff. They don't talk about it because I haven't brought it up, and who knows? Just like how I know for a fact that some of you, like, I mean, come on, how many things do I send out there that you either click on another link, you read something or whatever, and then you go like, but then you realize it's none of your business, and then you back away. So, you know, if I'm not going to talk about it, then I'm not going to talk about it, you know, and unless I talk about it, I'm a freaking 21-year-old woman. It's my life. If I'm not going to talk about it, it's none of anyone's business. But, and I own it, you know, like I know, especially for a lot of you guys, because let's face it, a lot of you, I have a huge South Asian fan base for some reason. You know, America is like, yes, I do have a lot of readers in America, but then my second biggest amount of readers comes from India and South Asia. And so I know that a lot of you, especially those of you who are, as I said, like 40 and above and everything, you probably disapprove of my lifestyle choices. You probably do. You're probably telling your kids I'm a bad influence. In fact, one of my best friends when I was younger, I was probably 16 or 17, and she told me her mother said that to her, that I was a bad influence. Why? Because I was talking about the LGBTQ+. Sorry, but babe, you are a homophobic, transphobic bitch. You just are. And if someone who promotes a loving life, a loving community, is a bad influence, hell yeah. Damn hell yeah, I'm a bad influence, and I choose to be. I will constantly choose to be a bad influence if that's your definition. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of bad influences, now I get to throw jalapenos onto cheese fries and call it a healthy meal because technically jalapenos are vegetables. Or would they be fruit? Like, what's the rule for that? Is it like seeds equal fruit? Because jalapenos do have seeds in them. Or are they just called peppers? Are peppers like in their own zone? There's so many segues. This is what happens when you have ADHD. Your brain just keeps jumping. I love it though. But yeah. So, I mean, come on. Like, I wrote a freaking romance novel. I started When You Saved Me when I was 14. And the very first chapter talks about how Damon is off to Whitestone Vale because he wants to spend his days drinking in solitude and having sex. Come on, people. I've hit a point where I'm not going to pretend like, you know, I will admit, and see, here's the thing, right? Why I bring this all up. So I have recently started, like, ever since the summer, I've been doing a couple of things, like, with advertising wise, which is why my blog's been doing a little better. Apart from using Insta stories instead of just posts, something I've been doing lately is these WhatsApp blast announcements, right? Except every time I'm putting out a blast, I'm thinking my friends' parents are on this list, my parents' friends are on this list, my aunts and uncles are on this list, and I'm like, I self-censor. Any posts in which I write about, like, romance or anything like that, I'm like, see, it's not that I'm scared about, oh, what if they say something to me? Like, I don't freaking care. But what if they go after like my parents or like, their kids or whatever? I'm like, I don't want to get other people in trouble and I don't want to have them be bothered. And then I realized that's dumb. That is absolutely dumb because the world can deal with it. You all are mature, grown adults, yeah? Like, we see this shit in. I know for a fact you see this in movies and everything, and the only time it becomes a problem is when it's a 20-year-old someone who either you're related to or who's related to someone you know. Like, grow up. Grow up. I have better things to do than self censor and worry about what the world has to say about me, so I'm not going to. I love being myself. Anyways, time to eat some jalapeno cheese fries. All right. First bite, and I'm going to do this with you guys, yeah? Okay. Yeah. Oh my god, yes. I literally never have to order Taco Bell's Fiesta potatoes again. Why didn't I think of this like a bajillion years ago? Oh my god. And it was so easy. What? I can literally have this like anytime I want. Anytime I want. Any day I want. Anyways, so for those of you who receive WhatsApp blasts from me, there will be no more self-censorship. I will be sending you literally everything. And if you don't want to read something, you don't want to watch something, then I leave that decision up to you. But I also trust that some of you at least most of you, I'm hoping, have progressive mindsets, aren't closed off to alternative thoughts and points of view, and well, if you can't deal with it, you can deal with it anyway. But I say all of that with, I'm not threatening your way of life. I'm promoting my own. That's the difference. Yeah, that's the difference. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.